Welcome everyone. Today is August 29th. Welcome to the GreenFire as we appear out of nowhere. Erewhon. As we appear out of Erewhon. For all good Americans, spelled backwards is Nakarima. So today is Revolution of Love. So in order to face the gods, we got to be Axis, bold as love. And be bold as love to step forward and say what our truth is. And that is in many variations and variants and many grades and colors and tapestries and murals. So mandalas too. So in that sense, let's take a little time here on the electronic campfire of this GreenFire universe of the golden eternity of this hour, and say that we're beginning to face the gods and becoming bold as love in order to face the gods. For in truth, the gods all reside within, the within of the within. And here we are in Iowa City, Iowa, and this is, most people know as the University of Iowa. And so there's a large community and also a perception of Iowa City as the University of Iowa. And that is the explicate order of things. When you think of Iowa City, you automatically think University of Iowa. But there's an implicate order in Iowa City that is not the University of Iowa. It is the hidden college, the Creative Writers Workshop that has nothing to do with the University of Iowa Writers Workshop. This is the Actualist Writers Workshop, where the spirit that moves us is amongst us. And so this is the Actualists impress upon the implicate order of Iowa City. And in this implicate order, it's more of the Zen bastards and the beat poets and the Grateful Dead, the hippies, you name it, the alternative order of things, which is the implicate order. And you cannot have an explicate order without an implicate order. The invisibility of things, the interiority of things. And it is in that spirit that GreenFire exists, as the interiority of things. And GreenFire always has a green fist, which is love and rage, and outrage against crimes against Mother Earth, where there is no compromise in defense of Mother Earth. And that is always on the front burner and the back burner of this campfire of GreenFire. So come on in, draw yourself in, cozy up, get with a good cup of hot chocolate, some popcorn, some munchies. Who knows what kind of favorite munchies you got. And a favorite beverage as well, and maybe an herbage of a kind, some fragrance of the wildwood, incense. We light the incense every time we gather around the GreenFire, and that is the passion of our desire to get activated with our immune system, which in the implicate order of things is desire. The immunology of irinology. Irinology is peace studies. And irinology is Irene, which is our favorite color of green, which is in the iris of our eyes and the great ire of our surprise, which is desire. Desire and surprise leads to curiosity, which leads to luminosity, which leads to illumination, which is where we're at, the GreenFire Nation. The GreenFire Nation, a good place to be. So in that spirit, let's share some things that are happening, a couple of peace walks that are beginning within the next couple of days Coming up is Labor Day, and welcome all you Germans coming in from Ostfriesland. 35 Germans coming from Ostfriesland to visit eastern Iowa. To our good friends Steve and Sharon Hankin in Monticello, Iowa, and many ancestors from Ostfriesland, farmer folk who go back, well, let's see, 160 years, say that's about 7 generations deep of Iowa farming in the black earth of Iowa, coming from the good welcoming folk from Ostfriesland to eastern Iowa. And along with that on Labor Day will be a couple of peace walks which will take us into a deeper way of what our responsibilities are in the times in which we live. And one peace walk is down in Georgia, and I'll just share with you what I have been given by some of our peace folks from the Voices for Creative Nonviolence in Chicago. That peace walk will be coming down on September 3rd through the 13th. And the Voices of in the Wilderness will assist with a Disarm the Trident nuclear submarine peace walk down the length of the Georgia's coast from Savannah, Georgia to Kings Bay submarine base, where on April 4th, 7 brave Plowshares activists incurred serious federal charges protesting the Trident submarine fleet housed there, down at Kings Bay submarine base in Georgia. If you want peace, get the Tridents out of Kings Bay. We will walk in solidarity with the Kings Bay Plowshares 7, calling for the abolition of the Trident submarines and all nuclear weapons. Savannah is the home of Gulfstream, a business jet manufacturer wholly owned by General Dynamics, the contractor for the making of the Tridents and one of the largest military contractors in the world, General Dynamics. Kings Bay Naval Base is the home to 6 Trident submarines, each one having the explosive capacity of at least 5,000 and up to 9,000 Hiroshimas. Just think of that. One nuclear Trident submarine is equal to 5,000 to 9,000 nuclear bombs dropped at Hiroshima. One Trident submarine. And they've got 6 of them. So that's like 45 to 50,000 Hiroshima bombs sitting on 6 Trident nuclear submarines at Kings Bay, Georgia. And this walk will be in nonviolence and in prayer, with the hope of bending the moral arc of the universe towards justice and peace, and the elimination of all nuclear weapons, the abolition of all nuclear weapons. And this is a poem from a peace volunteer. The world I grew up in became a monster of my lifetime. They took everything I ought to have. Take a moment of your off time to think who took my freedom, my right to education, my right to live happy. Your sons are sent here. This is an Afghan peace volunteer speaking to an American audience. Your sons are sent here to kill and be killed. You are to hear. They are the hero. Who is the hero that is not killing here? Much like John McCain. I sense you can stop the war. You have no reason to believe me, but I have every reason to believe you. You stop the war, I can rebuild my home. I can color my home. I can bring love to my home. I can feel loved at home. We're all born to die. Give me the feeling that I die like a human and die like you. This is a message to the people of the United States from an Afghan peace volunteer, Nimatullah Ahangosh. The world I grew up in became a monster of my lifetime. They took everything I ought to have. Take a moment of your off time to think who took my freedom. Yeah, let's just take a moment of our off time to think of who took this Afghanistan peace volunteer's freedom. My right to education, my right to live happy. Your sons are sent here to kill and be killed. You are to hear. They are the hero. Who is the hero that is not killing here? I sense you can stop the war. You have no reason to believe me, but I have every reason to believe you. You stop the war, I can rebuild my home. I can color my home. I can bring love to my home. I can feel loved at home. We are all born to die. Give me the feeling that I die like a human and die like you. So that makes this Trident Peace Walk even all the more salient. Again, this Trident Peace Walk to the Trident nuclear submarine base at Kings Bay, Georgia, is September 3rd to 13th. And it is a call for the abolition of Trident nuclear submarines and all nuclear weapons. And Savannah is the home for Gulfstream, wholly owned by General Dynamics, contractor for the making of the Trident submarines and one of the largest military contractors in the world. Kings Bay is a home to 6 Trident nuclear submarines. Each one is having the explosive capacity of 5,000 to 9,000 Hiroshimas. That is 50,000 nuclear bombs on these 6 Trident submarines. We will walk in nonviolence and prayer with the hope of bending the moral arc of the world toward peace and justice and toward the abolition of all nuclear weapons. And having on this peace walk, we will learn how to walk a mile in their shoes, such as the message from Nimatullah Ahangosh, the Afghan peace volunteer, to the people of the United States. And that begins September 3rd and goes through September 13th. For more information, you can go to vcnv.org, vcnv.org, or call 773-878-3815. That's in Chicago, the Voices for Community Nonviolence, or Creative Nonviolence. That's vcnv.org. Email info@vcnv.org or call 773-878-3815. There is no border since I understood that love is stronger. And love is stronger because the revolution is love. You can't have a revolution without love. There is no such thing. You can have an economic revolution, a military revolution, a coup d'etat. None of them are true revolutions because without love there is no revolution. And that is an evolutionary spiral dance upward. That's a spiral dance upward as an evolutionary higher union. So this hunger for nuclear disarmament, and you can also ask for the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, signed by 122 countries of the United Nations in June of 2017. And so when you contact the Voices for Community, Creative Nonviolence, ask for the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. That's all nuclear weapons, abolition. which won the Nobel Peace Prize. And that is a noble and worthy and part of the higher union of the revolution of love. Another peace walk more close to the Midwest here in Iowa will take place around the same time. This peace walk begins September 1st, which is Saturday, and goes to the next Saturday, which is September 8th. And it leaves Des Moines and it goes to Ankeny, which is 13 miles. And then from Ankeny to Huxley, these are right along I-35, going north. And then from Huxley to Ames, 14 miles. And then from Ames to Boone, 12 miles. And Wednesday, September 5th, from Boone to Pilot Mound, which is 14 miles. And then Thursday, September 6th, Pilot Mound to Dayton, which is 9.3 miles. And then from Friday, September 7th, from Dayton to Otho, which is 11.3 miles. And on the last day, September 8th, from Otho to Fort Dodge, 11.9 miles. This is sponsored by the Sierra Club, 100 Grannies for a Livable Future, Homes for My Peeps, Seeding Sovereignty, the Sage Sisters of Solidarity, Bold Iowa, Indigenous Iowa, and the Climate March. And they all have to do with the pipeline that was illegally shoved down the throats of Iowans and Iowa farmers that is directly diagonal and is part of the Standing Rock resistance, which is water is life, and we're protectors. We are the protectors. And so the guardians and the protectors. So go to Bold, Iowa, if you will, boldiowa.com, or the Sierra Club, Iowa. Sierra Club, Iowa. And the Sierra Club lawsuit will be argued before the Iowa Supreme Court, which will be that right after the peace walk, which will be Wednesday, September 12th at 9 a.m. at the Iowa Supreme Court, 1111 East Court Avenue in Des Moines. And I ask many people, if they can, to tune in and attend that Iowa Supreme Court hearing, which will be for the oral arguments in the lawsuit filed against the Iowa Utilities Board regarding the Dakota Access Pipeline. And as many people as can staff and pack the courthouse for that event. Oral arguments in the landowner Iowa Sierra Club lawsuit. And Wally Taylor is one of the key attorneys who will represent the landowners and the Iowa Sierra Club and the various other groups of farmers in this lawsuit against the Iowa Utilities Board regarding the Dakota Access, immoral, unjust, corrupt Dakota Access Pipeline that runs diagonally across the fertile bosom of Iowa. And so get the message out, and if you have some time, you may want to go on this peace walk. If you've never been on a peace walk, it's a wonderful experience. This is like a week long, and let's see, 21, 35, 47, 61, 70. It's about 93, 95 miles, which is a pretty good walk, 95 miles for peace, and to shut down the Dakota Access Pipeline. And you'll receive some of the great hospitality that Iowa has to offer on these peace walks, walking through Des Moines, through Ankeny and Huxley, some of the smaller communities, back to a larger community in Ames, and to Boone, and see the beautiful Ledges State Park, and to Pilot Mound, and to Dayton, and to Otho, and to Fort Dodge. So central and north central Iowa. And it'll be good for you. It'll do you good. And thank you all in one form or another for continuing to fight for our land, water, property rights, and our planet. Not so sure about property rights. Always, in one form or another, consider property as theft. And I don't think you can prove otherwise. Property is theft. So these are two peace walks, one on the eastern seaboard in Georgia, and one in the heart of the heartland here in Iowa. And they're both co-synchronous. Starting one on the September 1st and going through the September 8th, the other going from September 3rd and going through September 13th. So wherever you are in the early month of September, just know in your heart and support these peace walks that there's a peace walk ongoing from minimum of September 1st through the September 13th, a fortnight, which is 2 weeks. So the first, right into the middle of September, there will be peace walks both on the East Coast and in the heartland. And may they share a peace walk in your heart. And so hopefully they'll be planting peace poles along the way. That's a good thing to do. Peace poles are say, may peace prevail upon earth in the rainbow hoops of all the nations. Red, yellow, black, and white. And this is a formation in real time, putting our contemplation with action. Action without contemplation, again, doesn't have a heart. It's like a revolution without love. But action with contemplation is a revolution with love. And contemplation with action is putting love into action by putting our feet one in front of the other is a prayer for peace. Each footstep being a prayer for peace. So with that, we will begin this composition dedicated to the heart of the heart song here, which is Iowa itself, which is the revolution of love. What has love got to do with it? What has love got to do with it? Seems to be the cynicism of the mantra of our age. The cynicism of the mantra of our age says, what has love got to do with it? Just don't rattle my cage. You just might find my ego inside trying to hide from the rage of this age. What has love got to do with it? Seems to be the cynicism of the mantra of our age. Just don't rattle my cage. You just might find my ego inside, trying to hide from the rage of this age. The land of the eagle's dance, the land of the eagle's dance of dollars dropped on your head every payday. The land of the eagle's dance of dollars dropping on your head every payday as the price and the salivating dog reward for keeping your mouth shut and keeping your silence in the age of indifference. And doesn't that differentiate us? And doesn't that differentiate us? And the whole things are pottery shards, and the whole things are pottery shards of a long-lost race, dear friends. We are the Anasazi of silence of our own age, and we will soon disappear under thermonuclear skies that cause not one iota whether we live or die, that cares not one iota whether we live or die. And we don't care one iota about a thermonuclear sky as long as we get paid on Friday, whether we are fried that day or not. That's the sport, old chap. And the whole things are pottery shards of a long-lost race, dear friends. We are the Anasazi of silence, and we will soon disappear under thermonuclear skies that cares not one iota whether we live or die, and we don't care one iota about a thermonuclear sky as long as we get paid on Friday, whether we are fried that day or not. That's the sport, old chap, the blood sport. It's a long, long, long way from the library. It's a long, 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 long way from the library in the Hall of Records, of the Akashic records of our soul. This is our own record keeping, dear friend. This is our own record keeping, dear friend. Yeah, this is our own record keeping, dear friend. Our own accountability. And who amongst us here is an accountant of our very own soul? And who amongst us here is an accountant of our very own soul? Better get with the program, dude. Better get with the program, dude. Better get with the program, dude. That time is going to be coming fast. That time is going to be coming fast. And while it may be a good beginning, and while it may be a good beginning to fast, and it may be a good beginning to fast, how long is it going to last? How long is it going to last? There is no cost accounting that is going to pay the toll man for this. There is no cost accounting in terms of dollars that is going to pay the toll man for this. For you got to pay the toll man to get on the ferry and to have the ferryman take you to the other side. There is no cost accounting that is going to pay the toll man for this. Where is the toll booth? And what's love got to do with this? Where is the toll booth? And what's love got to do with this? A whole lot of love. A whole lot of love. A whole lot of love. And all the Zeppelins are full of lead and crashing on the levee. And all the Zeppelins are full of lead and crashing on the levee, where I drove my Chevy and the music died. And the whole things are pottery shards of a long lost race. Dear friends, we are the Anasazi of silence of our age, and we will soon disappear under thermonuclear skies that cares not one iota whether we live or die. And we don't care one iota about a thermonuclear sky as long as we get paid on Friday, whether we are fried that day or not. That's the blood sport, old chap. That's the sport, old chap. It's a long, long, long way from the library in the Hall of Records, of the Akashic records of our soul. This is our own record keeping, dear friend, our own accountability. And who amongst us here is an accountant of our very own soul? And who amongst us here is an accountant of our very own soul? And who do you say that I am? And who do you say that I am? And who do you say that I am? And who amongst us here is an accountant of our very own soul? Better get with the program, dude. That time is going to be coming fast. And while it may be a good beginning to fast, how long is it going to last? There is no cost accounting that is going to pay the toll, the tillerman, for this. There is no cost accounting that is going to pay the toll of the tillerman for this. Where's the toll booth? And what's love got to do with this? A whole lot of love. A whole lot of love. And all the Zeppelins are full of lead and crashing on the levee where I drove my Chevy on the day the music died. And love is all around. And love is all around. And love is in the air. And we really do care. Because if we dare to say love is all there is, then in spiritu and in situ and in fact, love indeed is all there is. A revolution of love begins at the roots and is a radical love. The roots are our ancestors. The roots are our elders, those who carry the wisdom tree of our collective memory. Youth, young lovers, young people, young lovers cannot have a vision. Young couples cannot have a vision without seeking the wisdom of the elders. Without seeking the wisdom of the elders, otherwise they are just infatuated without a vision. Otherwise they are just infatuated without a vision, a vocation or a notion, just hearts on vacation, a summer love. And love is in the air. And love is all around, and love is on the ground, and we really do care. Because if we dare to say love is all there is, love is all there is, then in spiritu, then in situ, and in fact, love indeed is all there is. A revolution of love begins at the roots, and is a radical love. The roots are our ancestors. The roots are our elders, those who carry the wisdom tree of our collective memory in asymmetry. Youth, young lovers, young people, young couples cannot have a vision, a lasting vision, a standing vision, an eternal vision, without seeking the wisdom of the elders. Otherwise, they are just infatuated, without a vision, without a vocation or a notion, just hearts on vacation for a summer love. And when you come to the shaking the pumpkin, and when you come to shaking the pumpkin, you will see you have no memory. You will see you have no memory. You will see you have no vision. You will see you have no brain. Because you didn't feed, nurture, and go to your roots. When you honor the elders, you honor and nurture the roots of your sacred memory. When you honor the elders, you honor and nurture the roots of your sacred memory, the sacred wisdom tree, which carries forth decisions for the sacred wisdom tree. For these elders are the carriers of the dream wheel. For these elders are carriers of the dream wheel. For these elders are carriers of the threshold of the dream wheel, which mirrors the reflection of truth to our youth. And this is all a reflection of our pool of wonder. And this is all a reflection of our pool of wonder. Our collective consciousness, which we carry forth as our real RNA. Our collective consciousness, which we carry forth as our real RNA. And key to this day is play. And key to this day is play. Homo ludens, the keys of Enoch. And love is in the air. And love is all around. And love is all over and around and on the ground and in the ground and through the ground and of the ground. And is grounded. And we really do care. Because if we dare to say love is all there is, then in spiritu and in fact, love indeed is all there is. Love for the least of these. Love for the least of these in loving kindness. For the youth and the elders and everyone else in between. A revolution of love begins at the roots and is a radical love. Amor y rabia. The roots are our ancestors. The roots are our elders. Those who carry the wisdom tree of our collective memory. Youth, young lovers, young people, young couples cannot have a vision, a sustaining and lasting vision, without seeking the wisdom of the elders. Otherwise, they are just infatuated, without a vision, without a vocation, without a notion, just hearts on vacation. Blinded by the physical attributes and attractions, not love. And when you come to shaking the pumpkin, and when you come to shaking the pumpkin, and when you come to shaking the pumpkin, and shaking the tree, and the shaking the pumpkin, and shaking the tree to the ground, you will see you have no memory. You will see because you didn't feed, and you didn't nurture, and you didn't go to your roots. And when you honor the elders, you honor and nurture the roots of your own sacred memory, the sacred wisdom tree, which carries forth decisions for the sacred wisdom tree, which carries forth decisions from the sacred wisdom tree. For these elders are carriers of the dream wheel. For these elders are carriers on the threshold of the dream wheel, which mirrors the reflection of truth to our youth. And this is all a reflection in our pool of wonder, a reflecting pool of wonder. Our collective consciousness, which we carry forth as our real RNA, and this collective consciousness which we carry forth through our elders, and is a key to this day. And the key to this day is play. Homo ludens, the keys of Enoch, the key of Mary, songs in the key of life, is the divine mother ray. The key of Mary is the songs in the key of life, and the divine mother ray, the healing energy rays, which is an essential part of the revolution of love. For wisdom is Sophia, and a little portion of the coming cosmic Christ. For wisdom is Sophia, and a little portion of the coming cosmic Christ, bathing us in the light of the great blue sky, lapis lazuli datu blue, the blue mother ray of Mary, and granting us this great blue sky of tangerine and terrapin station and nectars of the beauty of the turquoise mind. Ah, nectars of the beauty of our turquoise mind, and bathing us in this light of the great blue sky. Here is great work, great story, great time. As we leave the earth now and go upon once upon a time, and we go once upon a time into dream time, where the real work is by the sun and the green. We enter great work, great story, great time. There is no other place to be but great work, great story, and great time. For the real work is by the sun and the green, and this GreenFire mind, and Gestapo politics inside the Gulag Beltway, D.C., belch out a glugged up gaggle of gobbledygook of fear and mind trump. And mind trump struts and harumps to a bootleg gaggle of crazies drunk on fear, drinking that swill for Kool-Aid in the rage of the age. And they smile in their putsch cloud of hate, lock her up. And they are coordinated to make damn sure all are aligned in this choreography of hate. And they self-coordinate to make sure to use force to keep others in that line of hate with them. Then they denounce others to the thought police, the Gestapo, to come by and make sure others comply and conform to that line of march and hate. And they want to send up a wall, and they want to send up a wall, and they want to build that wall for Humpty Trumpty, and they want to build that wall for Humpty Trumpty, and they want to build that wall for Humpty Trumpty. And that line of march of hate, and it's cheap and easy, and brings forth the killing field. Listen clearly, dear friend. And it's cheap and easy, and brings forth the killing field. All this falsification, all this falsification is fascification, as they try to get that hate train to roll, as they try to get that hate train to roll to the Auschwitz of your mind, as they try to get that hate train to roll to the Auschwitz of your mind, so that it will steamroll everybody, Jews and gays and intellectuals and the press and all the rest. When you see something wrong, speak up. Say so. Say there's something wrong. Stand up. Speak out. Shout. Scream. Say there's something wrong. And the key of Mary is the divine mother ray, the healing energy rays, which is an essential part of the revolution of love. For wisdom is Sophia, Pistis Sophia, and a little portion of the coming cosmic Christ with a K. Cosmic spelled with a K, not a C. bathing us in light of the great blue sky. Here is the great work of once upon a time in dream time. Here is the great work, great story, great time. Real work by the sun in the green. And Gestapo politics inside the Gulag Beltway belch out a glugged up gaggle gobbledygook of fear, and mind Trump is on parade, struts and harumps to a bootleg gaggle of crazies drunk on fear, drinking that swill for Kool-Aid in the rage of the age. And they sig smile in their pooch cloud of hate, lock her up. And they are coordinated to make sure all are aligned in this choreography of hate. And they self-coordinate to make sure to use force to keep others in that line of hate with them. Then they denounce others to the thought police, to the Gestapo, to the local yodel show, to come by and make sure others comply and conform to that line of march of hate, conforming to that line of march of hate. And it's cheap and it's easy and it's a death call. And it brings forth the killing field. All this falsification is fascification as they try to get that hate train to roll so that it will steamroll everybody. Jews, gays, intellectuals, the press, and all the rest. When you see something wrong, speak up. Say there's something wrong. When you see something wrong, speak up. Say there's something wrong. Stand up. Speak out. Shout. Scream. Say there's something wrong. Your silence is complicity. Your complacency is duplicity. So you see, love's got something to do with it. So you do see love's got something to do with it. So yeah, you do see love's got something to do with it. Fierce love, unconditional love, ruthless compassion, agape, amor y rabia, love and rage. And the scales fall off your eyelids. And the scales fall off your eyelids. And the scales fall off your eyelids for the very first time. And you begin to see for the first time. And you begin to see for the first time that love is in the air. That love is all around. And you too will do. And you too will do. Just as you are. Just as you are. Just as you are. Because love is a star. Because love is a star. And love is all there is. Love is all there is. And you speak up. And you shout it out from the highest tree that love is a great mystery. A grace given unconditionally. A grace given free. A love supreme. A love supreme. A gift from above in the revolution of love. So your silence, when you see these things, when you see these things, you see and you sit in your silence and you reflect. It's always healthy to reflect. Helps your mind evolve and develop in a maturation of mind from facts and data. And you come into knowledge. And then so you sit there and you reflect on this knowledge for a while, and then you come into an awareness. And then from awareness you come into an understanding. And with that understanding you develop some compassion. With that compassion you begin to seed thoughts for wisdom. You begin to develop a bodhisattva mind. And when you see these things, speak out, shout out, make sure that you are heard. Don't sit in the silence, because your silence is complicity, and your complacency is duplicity. So you see, love does have something to do with it. Love's got something to do with it. Fierce love, unconditional love, ruthless compassion, agape, unyielding, unconditional love, amor irabia, love and rage, philias, brotherly love, and the scales fall off your eyelids, and the scales fall off your eyelids, and those scales fall off your eyelids, and you begin to see for the first time that love is in the air, that love is all around, and that you too will do. You too will do. You too will do, just as you are, just as you are. Because love is a star. Because love is a star, a righteous, bright, shining star. That star that's shining out there is a representing of the implicate order of you, the heart song star of you. Love is a star, and love is a heart song, and love is all around, and love is all there is. Bhavanam kevalam, Bhavanam kevalam, Bhavanam kevalam. Love is all there is. And you speak up, and you shout it out from the highest tree, that love is a great mystery, a grace given unconditionally, a grace given free, a love supreme, a gift from above. Ah, the revolution of love. Aho. So this is a little implicate, explicate order of the actualist, the spirit that moves us. This is the spirit that moves us, which is a deeper part of a Eucyclic network. Eucyclic network is E-U-P-S-Y-C-H-I-C. The Eucyclic network. And I invite you to look up the Eucyclic network. E-U-P-S-Y-C-H-I-C. The Eucyclic network. As the eugenesis of this cosmos Indo-Plutinos, which is a certain form of Greek and Latin, which is sacred language, not far from the Sanskrit in certain ways, for the German and the Greek, and the consecrated Latin and the Sanskrit are very close in a certain linguistic framing. There's a certain language tree they come from, and the emanation of this love goes back through the generations to the ancestors, to the mystery schools, which are thousands of years old, both from India and Greece and Egypt and China and Africa, even the Mayans and Americua. These ancient elders have spoken this mystery tree to initiates and adepts through the generations, who are the medicine people, who are the healers, who bring the community into unity through a diversity of affirming each person as a gift and helping that person unfolding their gift. Each one of us is a gift, all right? And we are all part of Indra's web. We're all part of Indra's web. And electronically speaking, that Indra's web is the internet, all right? The internet is a certain form of Indra's web. Not as high as Indra's web. There's a higher union than the internet. But if you get an image of that, if you get an image of that, holding that image in the bicameral mind, all right, left brain, right brain. So in this revolution of love, the mothership of the neocortex is in the front of our brain, right? The occipital nerves. So this is helping developing the dancing neurons and sharpening our axons in the occipital nerves of the neocortex. So we can develop our second vision. We call it the third eye, the smiling forehead of third eye kindness, loving kindness. And that only activates when we have loving kindness for the least of these. That's for all people. The least of these, that's the people we care about, right? The elders, the infirm, those who don't have the gifts that we have, those are poor or poverty, those are in prison, those who are in nursing homes, okay? Caring for the least of these, which should be, you would find in the, you would find on the Sermon on the Mount, you know, those in prison, the orphans, the widows, the least of the children, especially the children, right? That's right, we got to care for the kids, all of them, all those little kids. They all deserve love. They all deserve a right to live and to grow up and to have a right to have a life and develop their gifts. For is it not our gift to serve one another? And in serving one another, we live up to the higher union. It's not taking from one another, it's serving one another. That literally means washing one another's feet. So we reach out and wash one another's feet with loving kindness and a care and compassion. That is developing a sentience for the cessation of suffering of all sentient beings, not just human beings, but four-legged, two-legged, bipedals, finned ones, the winged ones, the creepy crawlers, all of life. The cessation of suffering for all the biota of life, for all the diversity that we are. So this is again restoring a philios, a love for life, a biophilios, a love for life, which is returning ourselves to the inner garden and removing ourselves from the garden of the beasts of fascism and Nazism, which is the witch hunts that are being spoken of in Washington, D.C. by Mein Trumpf and his Sig Smile followers. Time for this revolution of love to burn through the hate train to a higher union for unconditional love. And that's where we're really at, folks. We're here facing the gods with axes bold as love, for this is our stretching time. This is the time for the call out, for the roll up of those ancient ways of hate and dissolving them with the balm of Gilead of unconditional love. This is the unconditional love that we truly are. And with that love star, we will have good crossings on boats, unshackled with free minds, and a good heart and a loving kindness that includes romantic love. Yeah, eros is love too, and amor. So all the different forms of love. The ones we forget about, let's open that up in our heart. For truly we are one heart. We are one revolution of love. So may this be a blessing in some form of the electronic green fire of this golden eternity of this hour. And may love shine upon you and your loved ones, and blessings to all.